Thank you, and welcome to the September 26th, 2024 League of Women Voters of LaPorte County Candidates Forum. We are meeting here tonight in the council chambers in City Hall in Michigan City, Indiana, and I want to welcome you on behalf of Access LaPorte County. The director cannot speak tonight, but he wanted me to mention that a live stream of tonight's meeting is being broadcast on the Access LaPorte County Facebook page and on Comcast Cable Channel 97, and also on the ALCO webpage at www.accesslaportecounty.org. And a fully produced version of tonight's forum will be available on the ALCO YouTube channel later this evening. Good evening. My name is Bonnie Schaaf. I am a member of the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County, and on behalf of the League, the board, the president, Regina Riddell, and the members of the League, we welcome all of the candidates and the audience members who are here tonight. And we thank you all for coming. And thank you also to our viewers online. The League of Women Voters of LaPorte County is a nonpartisan organization which does not oppose or support any political candidate or political party. We encourage informed and active participation in government. We study and advocate for public policies. We reach out to the public with civic education programs and presentations by community leaders. We engage voters through candidate forums, voter registration drives, get out the vote activities, and with our online voters guide, vote411.org. We welcome women and men who want to assure that democracy works for everyone. Our online voters guide, vote411.org, will go live this weekend, and we encourage you to check out this source of voting and ballot information. On Vote 411, you can preview what's on your ballot. You can read the survey questions which the candidates have answered, and you can compare their answers. It links to the in.gov voter portal website where you can register to vote, or you can check your voter registration status there. And you can also find the vote centers in LaPorte County, which you can filter by distance from your address. The voter's guide goes live this weekend, and if you find that some of the candidates on your ballot have not answered the Vote 411 survey, please encourage them to do so. There are several important election dates coming up for you to remember, so please take time now to make a plan for how and when you will vote. Voter registration ends on Monday, October 7th. Up until then, you may submit a voter registration application in person at the voter registration office in LaPorte, or you can do it online at in.gov/voter portal. But the deadline is coming up October 7th. And early voting begins the next day on October 8th, 2024. We have 4 early voting locations in our county. The one in LaPorte will be at the LaPorte County Fairgrounds on State Road 2 in the small project building. In Michigan City, early voting is in the county building at the corner of 8th and Wabash Street. In Rolling Prairie, it will be held at the Wells Community Center, 6981 East, 350 North in Rolling Prairie, and the town of Wanata at the Wanata Town Hall, 104 North Main Street, is also a location for early voting. The early voting hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., Wednesdays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., and on 2 Saturdays prior to the election, October 26th and November 2nd from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then the early voting polls will close on Monday, November 4th at noon. October 17th is the first day that a confined voter may vote before an absentee ballot voter board that comes to their house. October 24th is the deadline for submitting an absentee ballot application. Absentee ballots may be mailed in, but must be received, not just postmarked, by the County Election Board prior to 6 p.m. on Election Day, November 5th. The mobile voting unit schedule with location and dates will be posted on the LaPorte County Election Board site, on the county website. The Election Board just had a meeting this afternoon to approve those dates and locations, so you'll have to check it out on the website. And then Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And as you probably know, we now have vote centers here in LaPorte County. You will no longer vote at a precinct polling place like you have for years probably, but you can choose any vote center location in the county. They are listed on the Election Board webpage, or you can use the QR code that's on our on the back of our program that I hope that everyone in the audience received. Now there's a QR code for the IN.gov voter portal, and you put in your address, and it gives a list of all of the vote centers in the county. You can filter it, so it's the distance from your address to each of those. So, and then there's also a QR code on the program for Vote 411 for the online voters guide too. When you do go to vote, be sure to take your state-issued ID or your passport or your military ID with you to vote. But please make sure that you vote. By voting, you participate in the democratic process. The right to vote is the most enshrined right in the Constitution and is protected by 5 separate amendments. Your vote counts. Voting is the way to make your voice heard. So on behalf of the League of Women Voters and the Access LaPorte County ALCO, we want to thank all of the candidates who are here tonight. A few of them let us know that they would be unable to attend due to work and other commitments. Our rules for this forum are as follows. The moderator, that's myself, and the screeners who are sitting here will determine the order of presentations. The candidates will each be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question, and 1 minute for closing remarks. In the interest of time, the number of questions for the candidate may be limited. We will ask candidates, whether opposed or not, to answer questions. A timer sitting in the front row will hold up a yellow card as a 15-second warning and a red card when the candidate's time is up and they need to finish their statement or their sentence. Only written questions screened by the League's Voter Services Committee, and the screeners here, will be accepted. Press releases about this forum invited members of the public to submit written questions in advance by sending them to the League's email address, and we accept questions from audience members who are present tonight. League members have index cards and pencils, so just raise your hand if you want to read out a question. The League expects courtesy to be shown to everyone. The League will not allow personal attacks, yelling, name-calling, or showing disrespect, and will interrupt or stop a candidate if needed while the clock is ticking. No outbursts or interruptions or disruptions are allowed from the audience members, or they will be asked to leave. Please remember, this is a forum, not a debate. No visual aids will be permitted, and candidates may not display any campaign materials here tonight. Audience members, please submit your questions at any time, including while the candidates are giving their opening statements and answering questions. Several candidates are on the ballot for county and state legislative races, and due to the length of the forum, we couldn't invite all of them on the same night. But to the forum tonight, we invited candidates running for the office of county auditor, county coroner, and county surveyor, circuit court judge, county commission districts 2 and 3, and state representative district 9. Our next forum is next Thursday, October 3rd at the LaPorte County Complex, directly behind the courthouse in the Commissioner's Meeting Room number 3. The candidates invited to that forum are those running for county clerk, county recorder, treasurer, County Council at Large and State Representative District 20 and State Senate District 08. If you cannot attend the forums in person, we hope you will watch them on ALCO's public access channel or Facebook or the ALCO YouTube channel. So we're going to begin now with the candidates for the office of LaPorte County Auditor, LaPorte County Coroner, and LaPorte County Surveyor. There is only one candidate for auditor. That's Mike Rosenbaum, Republican candidate. He is unopposed on the ballot, and he did not respond, so, and he is not here unless he showed up in the last 5 minutes. So we will go ahead to the coroner. Well, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead to the coroner candidate. There are 2 candidates for coroner on the ballot this November. The Democratic candidate is Mark P. Baker, who is here with us tonight. Thank you for coming. And the Republican candidate is Lynn Swanson, but she sent her sincere regrets that she could not be here because she is at a work-related training. But we will begin now with a 2-minute opening statement from Democratic candidate for coroner, Mark P. Baker.
Good evening. I would like to take this time to thank the League of Women Voters for this forum and the several other forums that they have hosted over the last few weeks. Thank you to the audience here and on Access TV through ALCOA and for broadcasting, and thank you to ALCO, Access LaPorte County, for broadcasting this forum and rebroadcasting this forum several times until the election. I believe a decedent needs an advocate, someone to speak for them. That person needs to be a compassionate, well-educated professional. My education, my certifications, years of experience, and my dedication to public service makes me that person. I also believe that a candidate should be held to a higher standard, equal to, if not above, what we hold our first responders to each and every day. I encourage all those listening to this forum tonight to look up the candidates, not only the ones for the coroner's office, but all candidates on the Facebook, on Indiana My Case, and the several other social medias that are out there. We need to elect the most professional, both on and off the job, person for every position in the county. I am Mark Baker. I am the Democratic candidate for LaPorte County Coroner.
Thank you. And now I have some questions. Some of these were submitted by email after we requested that in the press release. It was in the newspaper last week. And some of the audience members have also written questions. But this first question for coroner, what does the role of the coroner entail?
Well, the role of the coroner is to determine the manner and cause of death. Okay, we need to be able to work with police officers, firefighters, EMS personnel at the scene. We need to be able to work with forensic personnel that will be doing our testing. I'm not qualified to do an autopsy. That goes to a qualified pathologist, okay? So we need to have that. We need to have a good rapport with them. We need to also have good record keeping. We need and timely record keeping. The role of coroner, we have to be a compassionate individuals to be able to talk to someone who's at the worst time of their life. You know, when we lose a loved one, it's very difficult. And as a coroner, you need to be able to break through that barrier of grief and get to them, make sure that the families and the other people that may have interest in this know what has to be done.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Next question is, what are the biggest challenges facing the coroner's office in the coming year?
That's a pretty easy question. It's always money, because autopsies are not getting cheaper, other testings are not getting cheaper. We also have to have education. We have to be able to get through to the public so they have an understanding of what is needed and why it's needed.
Okay. And how can you ensure confidentiality in highly sensitive cases?
Again, that's a matter of protocols. I've addressed this with some of the people that I have in my committee. Protocols for that type of situation are very important. As a firefighter, as an EMS worker, as previous time in the coroner's office, we've had to adhere to that. HIPAA laws do not apply per se, but there are other laws that do for keeping all the individuals' personal information, just that, personal information.
Okay, thank you. And the final question, have you ever testified in court?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, and now, yes, I don't know who wrote that. And now you may give your 1-minute closing statement.
Okay, I believe my education, certification, job experience, and dedication to public service make me the best qualified candidate for the LaPorte County Coroner. I will hold myself to a higher standard, both on and off the job. I will communicate with families, local officials, and others to provide a compassionate, professional service to all people of LaPorte County, no matter what their political party, ethnic background, social economic status, or preferences are. I am Mark Baker. I am the Democratic candidate for LaPorte County Coroner, and I humbly ask for your vote on or before November 5th.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mark Baker. And we continue now with the candidates for surveyor. The candidates are Democratic candidate Anthony Tony Hendricks and John Matwishin, the Republican candidate. Thank you both for being here tonight. And we'll begin with your 2-minute opening statements, beginning with Anthony Hendricks, please.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters for everything they do for the voters and the right to vote in America. My name is Tony Hendricks. I am the LaPorte County Surveyor. I'm licensed, I'm experienced and professional, so my motto is take a leap forward with LaPorte County Surveyor. I'm licensed in the state of Indiana as a surveyor. I am presently the chairman of the Indiana-Michigan State Line Commission. As a member of the LaPorte County Surveyor, I'm a member of the Plan Commission. The LaPorte County Surveyor also entails the Drainage Board Technical Advisory, and I have experience in all those situations in LaPorte County and beyond. I am the chairman of the Technical Committee for the Kankakee River Basin Commission, and with that experience, I've been surveying for 40-plus years, and I make sure that LaPorte County can move forward because the LaPorte County Surveyor's Office is the best position and the foundation for everything we do, from public to private lands, and I ask for your vote in November. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Mr. John Matwishin, your 2-minute opening statement.
Thank you. I am currently running for the surveyor position. I am not a licensed surveyor. However, the office does not require that for the county surveyor position. What my plans are is to hire registered surveyors to do the work that they are required to have the license. There's many things that the county could benefit from that do not require the surveyor license, the credential. Things that are involved in economic development, for example, the broadband network where I participated in the committee putting in fiber optic, does not require any type of surveying license. However, there are other economic things also that do not require it. The documenting of the section corners requires that the surveyor sign off on it, but the surveyor himself does not need to have registration and can do the work for less of charge to the county. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we have some questions now for surveyor. And if anyone in the audience has any questions, please be sure to turn those in. And we're going to begin with John Matwishin. What are the most important responsibilities of the surveyor?
The surveyor is charged with verifying the presence of the corner sections, section corners that are placed out every mile in the whole state of Indiana. Those have been in existence since the mid-19th century. It's something that needs to be provided for surveyors to be able to locate individual lots in an area. In addition, the surveyor has been charged with keeping track of floodwaters. Also, the EPA tasks the surveyor with certain duties to help them control pollution, and also the environmental, the EPA that needs to track endangered species. I'd like to expand that beyond the legally required duties to allow economic development to be also introduced.
Okay, thank you. And the same question for Anthony Hendricks. What are the most important responsibilities of the surveyor?
The duties of the county surveyor are multifold. The first one is the section corners, like he said. In the mid-1830s in LaPorte County, the federal surveyors put section corners every half mile, so there's about 8 section corners per mile. The second is the Plan Commission, member of the LaPorte County Surveyor. The other major duty, mostly in southern LaPorte County, is a technical advisor to the Drainage Board. There's about 450 miles of drainage board under their jurisdiction, drainage ditches. And then the surveyor also is the person that checks the location of any public licensing of liquor permits or alcohol permits in LaPorte County in any jurisdiction or any township. The surveyor can also help in those duties in economic development. And that's where you see experience come into play, because beyond any typical duty that we have in any elected office, we have our experience to help in other fields too.
Okay, thank you. The next question, this is, I'll ask first Anthony Hendricks. How do you describe good services to the public and to government officials?
That's a good question, and thank you for the question. Good services, as county surveyor, it's a part-time position. As a licensed surveyor in the state of Indiana, I also run a private business. And in the private business, we are challenged, especially in today's world, to give value for everything, every service we do. So we use technology all we can. We give the best value. And that carries over into the county surveyor's office as someone in the private world understands the value of either technology or the value of good service for people, so they know that they're getting the best bang for their buck. And the license and the surveyor in that capacity makes sure that everything runs in the office smoothly, so all the private surveyors, all the real estate agents, and all the engineering companies have the ability to give value to the public out through their duties in the elected surveyor's office.
Okay, thank you. And same question for John Matwishin. How do you describe good service to the public and to government officials?
I would include the entire population of the county as being a client of the surveyor's office. The question posed for the Vote 411 page focused on architects and engineers. That's not typical of the entire population of the county. Often the needs of the county residents is to just find the corners of their lot. That's something that does not require a licensed professional to do. It's more for information, education, sometimes entertainment value, but not for something that requires a legal document that would be pursued. So I would include the entire population as being a client of the surveyor's office.
Okay, thank you. And final question, it'll be the same question for both of you. Would you explain how to determine property boundaries? And we'll begin with John.
Classically, it would require starting with the section corners that had been established more than a century ago, and also starting with the declination from the magnetic pole. So you would use, using classical techniques, a chain of design length and a device called a theodolite, which would allow you to designate places along the path that is used to find a point in the county. And you would just chain together based on the direction and distance that is measured with these devices.
Okay, thank you. And the same question for Anthony Hendricks. Would you explain how to determine property boundaries?
Property boundaries do start from the federal section corners that are every half mile. And it doesn't matter if you have a tract of land, you have a public road, or you have a subdivision lot. The next procedure you would go through is you look at the deed record, and that would either give you meets and bounds descriptions, or that would give you a lot in a platted subdivision. Then the surveyor would go out and look for existing corners that may or may not match those descriptions, either a property boundary or a subdivision plat map, and compare those to all other recorded deeds for the adjacent neighbors, either adjacent or further out, to make sure that everyone gets what they think they own by deed, by record in the recorder's office. And after that, the licensed surveyor would make a decision and compare and analyze and do a risk analysis on what corners they find to see which ones would hold up, which ones are original from original surveyor, and which ones are true or which ones were set nonchalantly.
Okay, thank you very much. And you may now give your 1-minute closing statement. We'll begin with John Mantwishen.
I welcome the opportunity to run for the position of county surveyor. I think that the needs of the county, the entire population of the county, deserves to be met, and the office of the surveyor can contribute in small order with the definition for the owner of property where their particular lot is located. Registered surveyors also differ in the calculations they do. There's many opportunities for discrepancies, and the surveyor, county surveyor, can contribute to the discussion of trying to resolve what caused the discrepancy. I'm up in Hudson Township and am aware of registered surveyors differing by 3 feet on a 100 by 100 lot of where the corner of the lots are. It causes quite a bit of controversy and concern on the part of the owners of the lots. That's from registered surveyors.
Okay, thank you. And Anthony Hendricks.
Again, thank you to the League of Women Voters and everyone to come. It is an honor to be elected county surveyor or any elected official. And we work very hard. Every elected official after the election works hard to work together. The county surveyor is no different. There are many departments in LaPorte County and municipalities that the county surveyor works together. And we service everyone in the county, not just the party, not just the people that got elected. Every property owner in LaPorte County has help in the LaPorte County Surveyor's Office. Now, through all the duties that we do have a funding concern, but we always work through those and do the best we can. We do work with all the professionals because, again, as working with the professionals, we give the value for every person in their property, whether it's the private property, the commercial property, the industrial property, the public right-of-way. The county surveyor is the foundation for all that. My name is Tony Hendricks, and I ask for your vote in November, on or before November 5th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please give a round of applause to the candidates here tonight. And now, thank you for being here tonight. We welcome our candidates for county commission. We have 2 commission districts on the ballot this year, the 2nd district and the 3rd district, and all of the voters in the county get to vote for them, even though the candidates have to reside in the district that they are running in. And in both of these races, the candidates are opposed. In District 2, the candidates are Mike Kellums, Democratic candidate, and Steve Hollifield, Republican candidate. And then in the 3rd district, the candidates are Randy Novak, the Democratic candidate, and Joe Haney, the Republican candidate. Although I don't believe Joe is here tonight. We didn't hear from him at all, so I don't think he's coming. But we're glad to have the 3 candidates who are here tonight. Thank you for coming. So we're going to begin, first of all, with District 2 candidates, just the 2 of them, because you get to choose between the 2 of them who to vote for. So we'll begin going alphabetically. We'll begin with the 2-minute opening statement from Steve Hollifield, the Republican candidate.
Good evening. I want to thank everyone for showing up. I want to thank the League of Women Voters for putting this on for us. I think this is what gets back to the roots of our government, is speaking, answering questions from the public. I was a graduate in 1984 of LaPorte High School. Currently, I'm a farmer in Lincoln Township. I grow mainly cattle and hay. I serve on the township board as a president. I've served on that board twice now. For probably 25 years, I've been active in and out of LaPorte County government, local government, speaking at meetings. I've served on conservancy district boards. I was on the Soil and Water Board as a member once. I believe my motto is putting the power back in the hands of the people. The people are the ones who are our bosses. We are public servants. I learned that back in government class from Ken Morrill, my government teacher. We don't work, we work for you. So when you guys have a problem, an issue, it's up to you to bring that forward so we can work it out with you. Currently, right now, there's a lot of utter chaos and confusion and nonsense going on in our commissioner's office, and I hope to bring that better. Every year, I go down during session and speak with Representative Jim Pressel and other departments down there, take questions, get questions answered. It's good that everyone talks and communicates. You don't always have to agree on everything, but you have to have the conversation before you know what your differences are, and in a mutually understandable way to either agree to disagree, or you agree on things and you move the county forward. Currently, the county is stagnant, in my opinion. No one's going to come here and invest millions of dollars to put together and create jobs in a business when they can't understand from day to day where the government stands and what they stand for. I believe when I run in the township board, everyone who has a question can bring it forward, ask me, I will find you the answer. I honorably respect your vote on or before November 5th. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And now, Mike Kellums, you're the Democratic candidate. Your 2-minute opening statement, please.
Thank you, Bonnie. Again, I would also like to reiterate my thanks to the League of Women Voters. As I find out, we campaign, and I think Steve would join me in this thought, there are not enough of these events. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the folks that have showed up here tonight to listen to what we have to say, and those that tune in on the television. I'm a lifelong resident of LaPorte County and a lifelong public servant. I'm in my 38th year of service as a police officer. I worked for 32 years at the county police department, and I've continued my law enforcement career currently working for the Purdue Police Department at the Westville campus. I decided to run for county commissioner for a couple of reasons, probably the most important of which is that there is an extreme level of dysfunction in our county government, and it starts at the top with the leadership on the county commission. It doesn't take a lot to watch the meetings, whether it's on public television or attend a meeting, and see some of this dysfunction. The bickering and the fighting, the personal attacks, the lawsuits, that's degrading to our county, and it's not serving our taxpayers well. That's a concern to me, and it should be a concern to everybody involved. In order to draw business here, we have to be able to get along. We have to make a working environment, and I believe I can bring that to the table as a county commissioner. As a police officer, for almost 4 decades, I've learned time and time again how to get along with people, how to help people get along. I've been a fixer. I believe that that's what county commissioners do, is to help fix people's problems. Our county is poised to explode with growth unlike anything we've seen in probably the last century, with literally billions of dollars of work going on outside and within LaPorte County. We need to be amenable to everybody that wants to come in and work with us. And that starts at the top, providing good leadership in county government for the hundreds of employees that work for the county government so they serve the taxpayers better. Thank you for having me here tonight.
Thank you very much. And now we have some questions, and audience members, please continue to turn in questions if you have them. Okay, we'll begin with, let's see. Okay, you were second. We'll begin with Mike Kellums. What plans do you have to bring business to the county with jobs and pay that can support families?
So as I alluded to in my opening remarks, the infrastructure is already going in and around LaPorte County. We have what I consider a gold mine in the Kingsbury, what was formerly the ordnance plant, now the industrial park, with 2 Class 1 railroads that are feeding into that. Those projects have been worked on for more than a decade, and they were recently finalized. That place is poised for incredible growth. As I've said time and time again, we've got a unique opportunity here in LaPorte County because of our highways, the highway systems that run in and through LaPorte County, the Port of Indiana that's just 25 miles away, the lakefront that we have unlimited possibilities for that, and I think it's incumbent upon us to make economic development the most important thing to do, and that's by making LaPorte County attractive, and we do that by providing good government services.
Thank you. And Steve, the same question. What plans do you have to bring business to the county with jobs and pay that can support families?
As Mr. Kellum says, we have to get along with each other. KOP is also a gold mine waiting with the railroads. They are currently now working on a road use agreement so that way the roads can be upgraded and updated. St. Joe County Council is working with Mr. Novak and our council to provide some kind of deal with housing. Housing has to come here too. If you don't, you can have all the jobs in the world, but if you don't have housing, you have to have some type of housing. It has to be affordable. And currently, I don't think we have enough housing at all here in LaPorte County, so they go hand in hand with each other. And I like the idea that we're working across county lines because they've got the jobs going over there, but they have no way to house those people. And so if we can work together on that and provide the houses, then maybe we can bring more businesses here and also, like I said, expand KOP. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question, there are 2 parts. They're for 2 different candidates about the same subject. And we're going to begin with Steve Hollifield. It's about solar farms. In a recent LaPorte County Herald Dispatch article about the county's solar ordinance, it said that you stated that solar farms might devalue neighboring homes. For several years, sand mining operations have devalued neighboring homes, and the county did not stop the sand mining. Do you believe that the county has the right to determine in advance that a solar farm will devalue a neighbor's property and therefore stop it before it does?
During the meetings, we provided documentation from real estate appraisers that it does devalue up to a certain percentage within a certain distance of those. I don't like to use the word farm because they grow nothing, they plant nothing, they harvest nothing. It's an industrial program. We provided that documentation. In my opinion, it was ignored. We have found other counties who have put into their ordinance a value loss agreement, so that way the people don't lose the value of their home and they still have the opportunity to sell that, because they didn't move into the county to be surrounded by an industrial program going on. So yes, it can be done. I think that is, and I want to reiterate one more time, as we've said every single time we've ever had a meeting, we do not take away your right to do what you want as your land. But again, what right do you have to destroy the value and enjoyment of someone else's property, just like the sand mine? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now for Mike Kellum's question also about solar. The county's solar ordinance, which was passed 2 years ago, is still being discussed at County Plan Commission and Board of Commissioners meetings. They are now discussing requiring setbacks ranging from 50 feet up to 1,000 feet. Where do you stand on the issue of setbacks, and do you believe the county should wait for further studies to be done before implementing the ordinance?
I know from attending a lot of the workshops that have been held, as well as the county commission meetings, the talks that have gone on. I know that the Plan Commission recently voted for, in a 9-0 vote, an ordinance update from the one that was passed 2 years ago. I know that part of that was the 250-foot setback. From what I've read and the information that I've learned from talking with not only farmers but solar farm project managers, that the 250 feet is reasonable. It's something that can be worked with. It's something that can be utilized to the benefit of the property owner as well as the solar farm. And I think the ordinance that they have now is a good and a reasonable ordinance that has been worked on for a lengthy amount of time and needs to be passed so that we can move forward on this issue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and next, let's see. Okay, and we'll begin this one with Mike Kellums. It'll be the same question for both of you. How will you ensure the LaPorte County Commissioners' meetings run more efficiently, and how will you set a good example for our citizens?
I think it's incumbent upon any elected official to act reasonable. I know that it's absolutely possible to disagree with somebody without being disagreeable. I see no reason why any of the current dysfunction that goes on back and forth at virtually every meeting has to occur. There's no reason why you can't have an open discussion between either the leaders of the commission or with the members of the public or other office holders where we can't come to a reasonable compromise or at least understand and hear each other out. I learned long ago as a hostage negotiator and a police officer, listening to a person's ideas, listening to a person's concerns is the most important thing, and then working out a good, suitable compromise that's in the best interest of the citizens and our taxpayers.
Okay, thank you. I don't understand this question, but I'm reading it anyway. And this will be, first of all, for Mike Kellums. By statute... Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you both? Oh, no, you didn't get to answer this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm way ahead of myself. Okay. Okay, this is for Steve. How will you ensure the LaPorte County Commissioners' meetings are run more efficiently, and how will you set a good example for our citizens?
Respect is the number one thing you have to come up with each other. I was taught a long time ago from my parents, you show respect to everybody, and they'll show you respect. So to have an agreement or disagreement, you're never going to get three people on a commission to agree on 100% of the things. But you have to have the conversation, talk to each other. As I said earlier, I go downstate every year during session. Mr. Pressel and I, other departments that he set meetings up with it, we don't always agree, and we leave the room, we shake hands, we move on, we see each other's side. If you want to have a knockdown dragout like that, you don't have things like that. First of all, you don't have them, and second of all, you do not have them in a public forum where everybody in the community, state, everyone looks at. We are currently laughed at down State House because our government, every day they have a meeting, something blows up that doesn't need to be. So it starts with respect and communication and civility with each other.
Okay, thank you. Sorry I missed you on that one. Okay, and now this question will also be for both of you, and we'll begin with Steve. By statute, the Indiana General Assembly has declared that vacant, unoccupied structures are a hazard to public health, safety, and welfare. What is going to be your site plan for the vacant county-owned structure at 8th and Wabash? I take it that's the building in Michigan City. I thought it was occupied. Maybe there's a second one that I'm not aware of.
If that's the building that they're currently using for voting, correct?
Yeah.
They're not tearing it down. I think once we get the voting out of the way, since we've spent a lot of money to remodel that courthouse, I think we need to really look at, do we need to own that property? If not, we probably should be putting it up for sale. Real estate market's hot right now. So now's an opportunity to grasp it by the fire and sell it and move on. Because if we don't need it, why are we getting it out there, keeping it, maintaining it? And then not only that, but we could put it back on the tax roll so that way an investor could buy it, use it for multiple purposes, and that gets back on the tax roll.
Thank you. And the same question, do you want me to repeat this?
No,
Okay.
I think I can answer it. And here's an example on the previous question. I agree with what Mr. Hollifield says 100%. If it currently is being used for our early voting center, I know that it was a temporary location when the county complex had some repairs being done to it. If it's a building that is of not necessary use for the county government, then it needs to be sold and put back on the tax rolls.
Okay. Thank you both very much for answering these questions, and you may now present your closing, 1-minute closing statement, and we will begin with Mike Kellums, Democratic candidate.
So we've got an important election coming up on November 5th. We have an opportunity to move forward with a ton of progress that's going on inside and surrounding LaPorte County. We need to have leaders in place that are going to help foster a workable, agreeable, positive LaPorte County for our employees and most importantly for our taxpayers. I believe I bring that to the commission. I can guarantee very few things. The one thing I can guarantee is civility, common sense, and working for the good of all of LaPorte County, putting ideological reasons aside, putting party aside, and working what is in the best interest of our taxpayers. I would appreciate your support and vote on November 5th. Thank you.
Thank you. And Steve Hollifield, Republican candidate.
I agree with Mr. Kellums. Civility and respect for each other and communication, open communication. Morale is low in certain departments. They aren't sure they have enough confidence when they bring an issue forward to the commissioners if it'll be taken care of and addressed. I don't guarantee or aspire to say I have all the answers, but I will guarantee you this. If someone brings a question to me, I will find the answer, just as I do in the township right now and was on the conservancy district. I'm not scared to ask state reps. I'm not scared to ask our state senators. Go down state to different departments that I've met over there, to the State Board of Accounts, the Department of Local Government Finance. I've met a lot of fine people over the years over there that are willing to sit down and have communication with me, answer questions. And when you get the questions answered, you can bring that forward to move LaPorte County forward instead of being stagnant like it's been for the last 25 to 30 years. Thank you. I appreciate your support on November 5th.
Okay, thank you very much. And if you'll stay seated here, now we will turn to the County Commission District 3 race. And Randy Novak is the Democratic candidate. The Republican candidate is not here tonight, but we will begin with Randy Novak's opening statement, please.
Good evening, and thank you to the League of Women Voters for hosting this tonight and ALCO TV for making sure it gets out to everybody, as many as people as we can. So again, my name is Randy Novak. I've spent for the last 4 decades in public service with the Volunteer Fire Department in Michiana Shores. Then I moved on to Michigan City Fire Department, retiring as fire chief after 33 years. I continue to serve as the chairman of the LaPorte County Fire Chiefs Association, overseeing the 18 fire departments that make up LaPorte County. Been married to my wife for 43 years, so I can make a commitment. But I've been on the council, this is my 10th year now. And of the 10 years that I've been on the council, I've been president 6 of those 10 years. 3 of those 6 years under a Republican-controlled council. So when I'm elected, I represent the people. And when I run for a position, I'm running for the people, not for a party. I don't represent a party, I represent the citizens, and that's the way this should be. The quality of life starts with local government. And you got to separate everything from the national, because here in the local government is where your roads get paved, your parks get made, your police, fire, all those kinds of things happen here with local government, and that's what we're all about. And my whole purpose, I don't have any hidden agenda other than trying to make LaPorte County the best that we can possibly be and represent all the citizens and make it safe and bring more businesses here. I'm also the president of the RDC, which is the Redevelopment Commission that oversees KIP that the gentleman talked about. I'm also the president of the Fairground Management Event Corporation out there. We're trying to improve the fairgrounds and make that all better, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you. And the first question we have for you tonight is, if you're elected commissioner, will housing be important to you, and what steps are important to facilitate development? I think housing development.
So, excellent question. So there was Vibrant Communities did a study, and this has been going on for quite a while. LaPorte County needs every kind of housing there is, from apartments to duplexes, to condos, to high-end homes, starter homes, everything. And as one of the candidates mentioned, we have monthly meetings, and now they've moved to bi-monthly meetings with St. Joe County because of all the expansion they're doing over there with the data center and with the battery storage facility. We're working to try and get as much opportunities that we have here in LaPorte County for housing. So we're extending, on the RDC, we extended the water and sewer outside of Michigan City to the south side of 94, and we're looking to do that in other places. We also did it over in the 39 North Conservatory District. We worked over there. We're now turning that over to the city, and housing is an absolute must, and it's high on our priority.
Okay, thank you. And now the same question about the solar ordinance. Do you want me to repeat the whole question, or I'll just?
Go ahead. That'll give me a minute
say-
to think.
Okay. The county's solar ordinance, which was passed 2 years ago, is still being discussed at County Plan Commission and Board of Commissioner meetings. They are now discussing requiring setbacks ranging from 50 feet up to 1,000 feet. Where do you stand on the issue of setbacks, and do you believe the county should wait for further studies to be done before implementing the ordinance?
So, as one of the candidates stated, the solar ordinance has been established by the Planning Commission, and it's gone to the commissioners, and the commissioners passed the changes to the solar ordinance. They sent, I think, part of it back because the Planning Commission proposed changes, and then they also proposed a moratorium, which makes no sense. So it really sent a lot of confusion into the community. But the ordinance, which is currently 250 feet, the thing that everybody needs to understand is everybody that applies is unique, and it's looked at uniquely. And they go to the BZA, and the BZA can take that 250 and make it 500 feet, or they could cut it down to 100 feet. So it's all flexible, and it's all ever-changing. So there's no one unique. So I support people's right to do what they want with their properties, but I believe we need to do it within a way so it's not intrusive on everybody else and as least offensive as we can possibly do in the community, so.
Thank you. And then I have two very short answer questions, probably. If you are elected to serve on the county commission this next term, do you intend to properly observe the Juneteenth holiday for all county employees each and every year?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that might be short. And another possibly short.
I'm ready.
Okay. The State Board of Accounts recently released their compliance report for LaPorte County. Have you reviewed that report, and what is your reaction to it?
So we reviewed the report. So as president of the council and the president of the commission and the auditor, the treasurer, everybody sits in these exit interviews. And we go through it. So it's an annual thing, and they find things that maybe wasn't done right. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you did something wrong, but you might be doing it right, but there's no policy or procedure that says how you're supposed to do it. So they say, we need a document that says, this is how you're supposed to do it. So you need to look at those, and you need to also notice that at the end, there's no significant findings. So there's no money missing, there's no other things. It's a check and balance, as the State Board of Accounts does. The council reviewed ours, we sent a response in, we looked at them, we acknowledged them, and we took corrective action so that it doesn't happen again. Majority of our things happen because of the auditor, and they're the ones that prepare our budgets and everything. It comes down to us. So that's where that information comes down for the council.
Okay, thank you. And final question, what impact will the $1.5 billion of investment from St. Joe County have on the citizens of LaPorte?
Well, if we have something to say about it, it's going to have a good impact. Because we're meeting with them on a regular basis, and we have a very open dialogue with St. Joe County, with New Carlisle, and we're looking at everything is on the table, from expanding their water and sewer across the county line to help us with housing in that area, to we also have regional sewer is expanding sewer with the help, the county council appropriated some ARP money for that, to Saugony Lake and Hudson Lake that desperately needs that because a lot of those lots are very small and they can't hold septic systems. So we're working very hard in that area to make things better, but we're also not just focusing there because the conversations we have with St. Joe County, they don't want all the growth right on the county line. They want to see it spread out because it's going to overwhelm the school system there. So it's a big check and balance on what we're doing. We're also looking at expanding water and everything else, so.
Okay, thank you very much. And Randy Novak, Democratic candidate for County Commission District 3, you may now give your closing statement.
So the thing I just want to say here at the end is, as I stated before, the quality of life starts here in local government, and everybody needs to pay attention to that, regardless of your national politics and the mess that's there. You need to separate that. You shouldn't be voting straight ticket on, I'm not a big fan of straight ticket because there's good people on both sides, and people need to take the time to look at the candidates individually and see who's qualified to be there, who's moving things forward and who's stopping things, who's the one that's making all for progress with the right ways and responsibly moving LaPorte County forward, and the others who, you know, somebody once said, you bring enough people in the room, the right people in a room, you can solve almost anything, and that's what I believe. As somebody else stated, I'm not the smartest person in the room, but by God, we can solve almost any problem we have here in LaPorte County, and I'm here to continue working for the citizens of LaPorte County. Vote for me, Randy Novak, November 5th.
Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to all of our county commission candidates who are here tonight. Thank you. Hello. And we have with us tonight, running for State Representative District 9, Patricia Boy, Democratic candidate, and I understand that your opponent, Joel Florek, is not here tonight. Is that correct? Did he walk in that I didn't see him? Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much, Ms. Boy, for being here tonight, and would you please start with your 2-minute opening statement?
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. Thank you to the League for putting on this forum. It's a lot of work, I know. Thank you to Michigan City for allowing us to use this facility, and thank you to ALCO for videotaping this and allowing everybody else to see it, because it's not always easy to get here for these. I'm Pat Boy. Nobody calls me Patricia. I've been Pat all my life. I grew up in Chicago. I live here. I've lived in Michigan City since 1978. I live in the same house that we bought in 1979. It doesn't make me any more important than anybody who moved here last week, except that I've been here longer. Right now, I'm state representative for District 9. It's my 6th year right now. I'm going for 7th. The importance of the state representative is to represent everybody in the district, but also to represent the state. So sometimes we don't all vote the same way. I have had one bill heard in 6 years. But I have had a number of things put into other bills as amendments. So it's a challenge to get things done in the state. You have to get cooperation between both sides. And when you're up against 70% majority, it's a little difficult. But we still try. And I've been trying for a long time for social, economic, and environmental justice for everybody. That includes protecting us from things like coal ash, and trying to get a workable minimum wage and things like that. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now I have 2 questions that I'm going to kind of combine that you'll just have to figure out how to answer it. Written by 2 different people. Indiana has been ranked as 35th in the nation for overall health and 43rd in the nation for mental health. Do you have a plan for improving health and health care in Indiana? And a related question, somewhat related, do you believe that the government should make health decisions for women?
For the first question, I don't have my own plan, but I really pay a lot of attention to what's coming out of the health committees. I don't serve on those committees. I serve on environment, natural resources, and elections, which have their own problems. People need health care. Our health care is more expensive. I think we're the 7th highest in the state, in the country, for the cost of health care. And we are, like you said, 35th in the state for health care for individuals that need assistance. It's just unconscionable that we continue the way we're going right now, and we need to do something about it. But I will look at what's coming out of the committee and vote for it. As far as the second question, they should not be in our business.
Okay. Okay, next question. Do you think that assault weapons, high-capacity magazines, and bump stocks should be banned? Why or why not?
I would like to see them banned, but I don't know if that would be constitutional, but I think they need to be locked up. I don't think that children should be able to get near them. I think they need to be licensed. I think that that would go a long way, and people need to be tested before they can, not tested, their background checks need to be checked before they can purchase them. Because right now there's no rules for buying a gun. You can buy them online, you can buy them at gun shows, and they shouldn't be so widely available that everybody can do whatever they want with a weapon. They've had, 2 weeks ago, there was a threat at my grandson's middle school. He was afraid to go to school on Monday. They found that there was no basis for it, but if we don't have the weapons available for people to do those things, we wouldn't have to worry about school threats.
Okay, thank you. Next question. Would you be willing to introduce legislation making it easier for school systems across Indiana to dispose of their unwanted properties, such as the old Pine Elementary School property on County Road 500 East in Pine Township?
I think that's probably a good idea, but I don't like the idea of selling it to a charter school for $1. I think that's a misuse of funding. Because it's paid for by property taxes in the first place, and if they've got something, there should be some value attached to it.
Okay. This is probably a short answer question.
Okay.
And so there's a follow-up. It has been decades since there has been a comprehensive review of Indiana's election laws and regulations. Do you feel this is an important issue?
I think it's a very important issue because every year they bring a new bill that changes the voting registration records or laws and the voter laws. This year they have changed it so that you cannot, if you have ever been on, starting in July next year, if you have ever had a temporary license, they assume you are not a citizen, and you will have to bring in proof of citizenship, or they will remove your records. And even if you are a citizen, it might take 6 to 8 weeks to find the documents if it's been a long time. And the process would allow 30 days for them to produce it, or they would lose their registration. That's one of the problems that we have right now, and they are doing it for new registrants right now. And there is no time limit on how far back they go on that on that restriction, on the 30 days,
Okay.
and how long they've had those.
Okay, thank you. And what is your understanding of the movement to establish an independent, nonpartisan redistricting commission in Indiana to manage the redistricting process? What is your opinion on that issue?
I think it's needed, very desperately needed. Redistricting has always been historically done by the party that had the majority, but they didn't use computers to do this. Now they have computers and they have honed it to a science, and the party in power can rearrange things to the census block really easily. There was a movement last election, to have an independent redistricting, and there were several promoted ideas for maps, and they were pretty good, but they weren't going to use them because they have the majority and they want to keep it. That's a problem. I mean, the Democrats have done the same thing in the past, but they didn't use computers, so we need to have something like that. Even Secretary of State Todd Rokita has said in the past that it's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. In the latest U.S. News and World Report ranking of states in various areas, Indiana ranked fairly high in several categories, but Indiana ranked 50th out of 50 states in terms of protecting the natural environment. Should that be a concern for the General Assembly?
It's a big concern, and they don't pay a lot of attention to it. I've had bills on coal ash for 3 years in a row, and then last year I had one that said we would not use coal ash for structural fill unless it was encapsulated in cement or concrete, and it was not heard in committee. They did ask for a summer study on it. The whole committee asked for a summer study, and they did not give us a summer study. But coal ash is one of the biggest threats to us right now because coal ash contains so many serious contaminants, arsenic, lead, mercury, radium, thallium, selenium. It's a scary substance, and it gets down in our groundwater because none of our coal ash ponds, which we have more than any other state, were lined. So everything goes down through the ground into the groundwater. And it's neglected. They said they won't do anything unless the EPA makes a rule, which they have, but it won't be a law. It'll be a rule.
Okay, thank you. And for your final question tonight, why do you think you are the best candidate for state representative representing District 9?
Well, I have 15 years' experience on the city council and 6 years' experience on in the state house. Both times I have started with the deer in the headlights look, but I've learned what I'm doing as I go. I still have things to learn. You don't learn it all in 6 years, but I can work with anybody in the state house. I can speak on bills that I don't agree with, and I can speak to support bills that I do agree with, and I have no fear anymore. When you get old, you don't have any fear of talking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now, Pat Boy, you may now give your 1-minute closing statement.
Okay. First of all, I want to talk about elections. We are the 50th in the nation for turnout. We are terrible. We have not enough people come out to vote, and people don't realize how much difference their vote will make. We offer so many opportunities for voting, with early voting, absentee ballots, voting on election day, vote centers, so you don't have to travel so far from work if you're not near your home. We need to have those, we have to keep those in mind. We have to tell our friends and neighbors they need to vote. They need to vote for a person, not for a party. You can vote for all of the people on one party if you like, but you need to hold those people accountable. And you need to get out to vote, and you need to get your relatives and friends out to vote, because every vote matters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause to all of our candidates tonight. Thank you. And on behalf of the League of Women Voters, I want to reiterate what Pat Boy said and what Randy Novak said too, that because the League encourages voters, look at each name on the ballot. Don't just vote. It's just lazy to vote straight ticket, pushing one button and not even considering. But I think you've seen here tonight from the few candidates that were here tonight. We were missing a few, but for the 7 candidates that showed up, I think you saw there are good people in running in both parties, and everyone on the ballot deserves your consideration. At least make your decision based on the individual, not just the political party. So thank you, Pat, and thank you, Randy, for making that statement too. And we thank you all for joining us tonight. Thank you to the candidates for sharing their views with us. Our next forum is next Thursday night at 7 p.m. at LaPorte County Complex. And we remind you again to take a look at our online voters guide, vote411.org. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of LaPorte County Board and members, as well as Access LaPorte County, we thank you all for attending this forum. Please remember, voting is the way you make your voice heard. This concludes this night of the Candidates Forum. Thank you and good night. Thank you.